Alright, so this video is going to be mainly on camera stuff. I'm actually planning to go on a trip pretty soon, and I was pulling all my camera stuff out, kind of figure out what's the lightest possible setup I can take, because I don't really want to take all my stuff or like my heavy lenses or anything, so I'm trying to figure it out. So I was pulling out all my gear and I realized how much gear I have that I don't use, that I haven't used in years. And the reason why I picked it up in the first place was because I saw a video similar to what I'm doing right now about people talking about gear, and then I ended up purchasing it, and then it ended up not fitting my needs. So I'm just gonna make a video and be as honest as I can and talk about 10 items that I absolutely use, that I've been using for the past years, that have helped me. I'm a super beginner, I'm not a professional or anything, but it's gear that I really like and I notice makes a huge difference when I'm out having fun and shooting photos and shooting videos. So that's pretty much what I'm gonna be going over. All right, so now I wanna talk about camera bags. I know it, for me, when I first got my first camera bag ever, I was super hyped on it. I was like, man, I want a camera bag to put all my camera gear. And I picked it up, and then that was the only thing I was able to use it for, is just camera gear, because it had all the inserts and whatnot. So I went ahead and got rid of it, and I started just buying regular bags. I love backpacks. I'm a huge bag guy. I have multiple backpacks. I actually use this Delta bag for like an everyday carry type of thing, and then I have this Supreme bag. I also have another airbag. This is an airbag, by the way. This is a Travel 3 in the size small. I have an Air Travel, I think the first generation of it when they first came out, in multicam black. It's really cool, but it's a lot bigger. So I have a bunch of different bags. But because of that, I like using them as my camera bag, or if I'm not using camera gear in it, then I like using it as a regular backpack. So that's why I love these inserts right here. These are pretty cheap. They're about 20 bucks on Amazon. This is one of my favorite ones. I'll try and find it again because I've had this one for so long, from S Zone. But it comes with its own inserts, but I ended up losing those because I have multiple of these. And these inserts are from a different bag. But as you can see, I set this thing up for, I believe, my Sony A7R4. I was using that for a while, and this is a configuration that I had everything in. So I really like these because you can set them up. You can put your stuff in here, zip it up, and then just throw it at the bottom of your bag, and it'll sit down here. And then you can use the bag for other stuff. And then when you're done using this as a camera bag, you take this insert out, and then you're back to using this as a regular backpack. So I like that because you're not really tied to only using that bag as a camera bag. I also have this other insert that I bought from Superior Defense. This is a bong bag. This one fits at the bottom as well, perfectly fine under here. I'll go ahead and show you what this looks like as I'm gonna take it to where I'm going. All right, so we're gonna have this product here from Peak Designs. These are anchor points, so it makes it so that you're able to quick detach your straps to your camera. Uses a little circle, clips in there, and then you're pretty locked in. They're really strong. I've been using these on all my cameras for the past, I don't know, 5 years, and I really like them. I went ahead and picked up this strap here from Mighty Killers. This is a guy that makes a bunch of cool straps for camera and lanyards and keychains and all kinds of cool stuff. I really like his branding and everything, and then he went ahead and make a little Peak Design one-handed strap, which I really like. This is the one that stays on my camera majority of the time when I'm out there running around. I don't really use the camera strap, even though this is one of the nicer straps that I have. This is another product from Peak Design. Uses the same mounting points. I really like this strap, but I just don't really like using straps. And when I do use it, this is a really nice strap to use. But to be honest, if I had to pick, I would still pick this one-handed strap. That's just me. I don't really like using the strap, but I know a lot of you guys probably will be using a strap. So if you are looking to get a camera strap, this is one of my favorite ones. Next is gonna be a product from Polar Pro. Now, I don't really necessarily wanna talk about Polar Pro's circular polarizing filter, the CPL. I just wanna talk about CPLs in general. Now, I used to have the Amazon Basic CPL, and I remember posting a video of me using that on a 70 to 200 2.8 camera lens. They're like, wow, you have really good glass and you have the cheapest, crappiest CPL. Well, at the time I was getting started and I got that lens for a pretty good price. And honestly, going from a Polar Pro to that Amazon Basics, it still gets the job done for like a fraction of the price. I believe it was like 20 bucks, maybe even less. And then I swapped over to a Polar Pro, a really nice one. And I couldn't really tell the difference in my eyes. If you're a professional, you might obviously invest in better glass and better filters. That's totally fine. But if you're a beginner, if you're just getting started, just get a CPL. It's going to help disguise pop. It's going to help with reflection. It really does make a huge difference, even if you're using the Amazon Basics. I'll go ahead and post it on the screen. But this is the one from Polar Pro. This is, I forgot who makes this. This is like a collaboration with Short Stash or whatever. Again, you don't really need this expensive one. You can get an Amazon Basics. All right, so I'll try to mimic a way to kind of test this, which is going to be kind of hard because I'm indoors and I'm shooting this directly into the light, but there you go. Got rid of the glare. I'm going back. So there you go. So tripods was one of the things that I saw so many videos about. That cool Polar Pro carbon fiber tripod that's like a bunch of money, super nice, really easy to travel with. Like even when I travel, if I have a tripod, it's so rare that I use it. If you use it and you're like shooting long exposures and all that stuff, then you might want to invest in a really good tripod. But for the everyday type of dude, I personally don't think you would need one. I've went ahead and invested on a few Amazon specials. These are pretty heavy duty. This is an aluminum tripod, and I don't even know the brand honestly. I got it for super cheap. I think like 80 bucks. And it works perfectly fine. It also has like this little attachment where you can make the arm stick out sideways or whatever. I don't know. I really like this tripod. It works really well. It's super cheap and it stays here at home because I don't travel with it. This Manfrotto one is also really nice. I have this one on this spotting scope that I use to, I don't know, look at the moon when I see there's a full moon out. So this one just kind of sits there like by the corner of the door. And if I see the moon is out, I take this out. That's why it's like this. But in terms of traveling, I don't like traveling with a tripod. It's kind of a hassle. It's too big. I don't like it. But again, this is totally up to you. If you shoot long exposure, stuff like that, then you might want to have one. The tripod that I absolutely love, though, is going to be this Manfrotto one. It's like a $20 tripod. And I like using this because, let's say I do want to shoot a long exposure of whatever. This is easier to carry than carrying a bigger tripod and then figuring out that I ended up not using it like the whole trip. But this is not that big of a deal. You can kind of put this in your bag and forget about it. It's so small. And then if you want to shoot a long exposure, you just take it out and put it on the ground, aim your camera up in the sky, and then do what you got to do, right? But this thing is nice. It's super cheap, and this kind of helps, you know, if you find a ledge or on a car or whatever, you can put this on there and then shoot your photos and whatnot. So moving on, the next thing I want to talk about is going to be SSDs, SD cards, and a way to protect them. So for my SD cards, I have this Pelican case. It's a really nice case. It has a rubber gasket around it, so it's fairly waterproof. But it also holds all your SD cards. You can also throw micro SD cards in there. And this is really nice, keeps everything organized. The last thing you want is to throw one of these in your pocket and then you end up losing it when you're pulling your phone out or whatever, because that's happened to me before. So having somewhere to put it is really good. It kind of keeps you organized, keeps all your files saved. The last thing you want to do is take a bunch of cool photos, take your SD card out, and then now you lost all your footage. So having somewhere to put it is really nice. Another thing is having an adapter too. This is something that I have multiples of. This is for your micro SD card, so the little SD card. Having this adapter here helps pull the footage from your drones, your Osmo Pocket 3, or whatever other cameras you're using that use the micro SD. So make sure you have something like this. I believe Amazon has cooler ones too. I like this one, even though I've seen the other ones. There's others that will allow you to put two Sony batteries in there and then still have space for SD cards, which is cool, but it's a little bit bigger. I like this one because it's really thin, small, and I know it has that gasket around it, so it helps with the water. Next is going to be the SSDs. Now, I like using these Samsung T5s. These are pretty fast. They're rugged. They're made out of like aluminum or whatever, and they're tiny. So I really like these. For these, you also got to make sure you're using a pretty good, sorry, I'm out of frame. You want to make sure you're using a pretty good data transfer cable. So a Type-C to Type-C that's actually made to transfer data. That way, if you're throwing all, or you're dumping all your 4K footage or whatever, it moves a little bit faster than a cheap cable, because the cables actually make a difference. So get some good SSDs. There are a bunch of them online. They're always on sale. Make sure you're looking at the speeds and whatnot to kind of make your decision there. If you don't need the speeds, then it doesn't really matter. But these are really cheap now. Before, they used to be worth a lot of money. Now they're just kind of always on sale. This here has been one of like my favorite things to have in my bag, and because they're so small, they're like these little light boxes or whatever. These are from Aperture. I have two. This is a newer model. This is the old one. I don't even think they have this one anymore, but this is the one that I started using like, I don't know, like more than 5 years ago. But it's just a regular light. Turn it on, you can change the brightness or whatever. But I love having these for all kinds of things. So this works if I'm looking through my bag, I can just grab this and look through my bag using this. Or if I need some different lighting, if I want to kind of light a little area up or a background, this is cool because you can just set this anywhere you want. So this thing is super nice. But the new one now, you can also put different films on the back here because it's magnetic. So again, I don't think they sell this one anymore. I tried looking it up. This is a ALM9, and I don't see any of these for sale. But this one was the first one I got, and then I went ahead and picked up two of these because I love these things so much. This is an Aperture MC. Now the cool thing about these is that this has multiple features where it can work the same thing as the other one, a lot brighter actually. And it also has, sorry, this one's dead. I've been using these for a while. It also has different features. So this one has like a pulsating feature. I'll go ahead and dim the lights here a little bit so you can kind of see the different features. But you have a pulse feature, party, a cop car feature. And it just has all kinds of fire. So pulsing, party, lightning. So you can kind of add effects to your, your video if that is what you want. Or you could just use it as a simple light. If you want to put this, let's say, on a tripod like this right here, you could just throw it on, turn it on, and then place this in an area if you want to light up a background or whatever. So these things are super nice. Having one, even if it's a cheap, it doesn't have to be from Aperture. There's a bunch of companies that have these, and you can probably buy them for like 20 bucks or whatever for something similar. All right, so moving on is going to be this Anker battery bank. Now, we all carry external battery packs already because we're always glued to our phones, but this is one of my favorite ones because it has the built-in Apple Watch charger, so you could just throw your Apple Watch on there. It also has 35 watts of charging power, and you can charge even your MacBook Air. I'm not sure about the MacBook Pros, the bigger ones, but for sure the MacBook Air, this will charge it. It's not a lot of juice. You are going to get just a few, maybe 1 hour extra on your MacBook. But in the emergency, you're editing or whatever you need, this will kind of help with that. It also has this Type-C in or out, so you can charge through here, or you can throw in a Type-C to Lightning or Type-C to Type-C and charge your camera. My Sony is Type-C, so I can charge my camera with it, and a few other items. So this thing's really nice. It also has a built-in Type-C cable, which I'm using the iPhone 15. So it's a Type-C, so I can connect this directly to my phone. So there's always a cable attached to this. Actually doubles as a lanyard, which I don't really like using because I feel like I'm going to break it. But it already has a Type-C built in. Most of my products here are all Type-C, so it's perfect for that. Now we're going to talk about the shotgun mics. Now I picked these up because I saw a bunch of YouTubers and a bunch of videos of people recommending these. And I went ahead and picked up this one first. And then I was like, I want better sound. So I picked up this one here. And honestly, I have not touched these or used these for more than like 2 years. I don't use these at all. If I were to be using this mic, the shotgun mic, the nicer one, to record this video, I don't think the sound would be coming out pretty good because it'll be only on one side because it's a shotgun mount, right? It's a directional. Whereas if I'm using the mic that I'm using now, which is my preferred mic, and they're a lot smaller, not that difficult to carry, is going to be this Rode mic. Hopefully you can still hear me. But this is a wireless mic. I have the other attachment to the top of my camera. I'll try to get a footage of that. But this has been, I'm pretty sure you guys seen these mics before. DJI also has a set of external mics like these. There's a bunch of them on the market, but these are the ones that I've had for, I don't know, for the past 3 or 4 years already, and they've been working fine. I really like them, and they kind of give me more flexibility of when I'm moving around and whatnot, and I can still get the same sound every time because I have this attached to my body, as opposed to where if I had this shotgun mount attached to my camera, I'd kind of, the moment I move away from my camera, you're not going to be able to hear me. So that is why I like using these external mics a lot more. All right, so the last thing and the least expensive thing I'm going to talk about is going to be some good old Ziploc bags. Now, I like carrying these in my backpacks or wherever I'm taking my gear at because you never know where you're going to actually need this in case it starts raining or you're in a position where you don't really have a place to put your bag that is away from the rain or the elements. So throwing your stuff, your electronics or whatever you need, your SD cards, if you don't have a SD card protector, throwing that stuff in something like this will kind of help protect it. It could potentially save you thousands. So this is pretty cheap insurance, and it takes up no space in your bag, so it, you know, packs up really small. So having this in your bag is really useful. Another way of using this is if you're actually shooting photos in the rain or it's pretty crappy conditions, you can always just throw your camera in here, cut a hole at the end for your lens, and then shoot that way. It can kind of reduce the amount of sand or water you can get in your gear, and it'll help you out a lot. But if you don't care, I know a lot of our cameras are pretty good. I've shot with one of my Sonys out in the rain when I was out in Canada, and I had no issues with it. The weather seal on some of these lenses are pretty nice, so I don't think it's too much to worry about, but having, you know, an extra layer of protection doesn't really hurt anybody. So I like carrying this stuff in my bag as well. All right, so that's my list of 10 essentials that I actually use when I'm out shooting or taking photos or traveling. Most of this gear that I've talked about is gonna make it into my backpack or pack or whatever 100% of the time, because I just find it so useful with me. And if I don't use it, it doesn't take up a lot of space, so I don't mind carrying it. So hopefully this kind of helps you, especially for people that are beginners. I know you guys that are professionals and been doing this for a long time probably have better recommendations or whatnot, which I would be more than happy to hear. I like buying new gear and testing stuff out, but I also don't mind returning it if I don't like it. So, or I don't mind saying that it sucks if it didn't work out for me. So definitely let me know, and then hopefully we can kind of make a series of these videos and review some better stuff out there. So I'll see you guys.